Okay, so remember that these people are changing the sound of my voice. So eugenics has been defined by the person who coined the term as the studies under social control that either improve or impair the racial qualities of future generations. Something to that effect. It's on the screen. Okay, I'm doing this off the top of my head. Sort of rushing through this before they fume me and make it harder for me to communicate. Before they fume me more than they are already. Okay, so as we look at this thing, right, what was the point of eugenics? It was a bunch of whites, Jews, and LGBT people who were doing it. And at some point, Hitler caught wind of it, and as the story goes, he propounds, the false idea of German supremacy, right? Now, when you look at this carefully, the evidence is overwhelming that there were people behind Hitler that wanted Hitler to, over time, give the German people a bad name. He was into the occult, and they're well aware that red symbolizes the principles of evil. You have the dark imagery, right? The black falcon imagery, and so on and so forth. They're aware that this was ultimately going to stigmatize them. But for who, right? And for who is basically white people, especially Nordic white people, English, French, American, and Jews and LGBT people, right? It's kind of like, the church's depictions, right? Demons are depicted as evil and red, and fairies are depicted as, kind of LGBT fairies, right? Fairies, okay? And of course, the Bible says narrow is the way to life and broad is the way to destruction. So the vast majority of people are going to hell. And of course, there's 2.5 billion people that call themselves Christians, some 1.6 billion Muslims, and all kinds of Jews and crypto Jews and other groups of people who are so-called religious. So as we look at the purpose of eugenics, we see that the history of it, the churches were helping them do it, the mental health was helping them do it, what have you. It's clear what's going on here, okay? They're trying to, it's the old angry red savages argument. They're trying to play out anybody who doesn't propound white, Jewish, and LGBT supremacy as evil. And they're studying anything that they control, right, that's under their social control in order to help them do it. They're trying to impair the black heterosexual man's racial qualities first and foremost, because it's a Royal African Falcon Martial Order. After I'm gone, there won't be a black person who's truly heterosexual or any other type of person that's truly heterosexual, because it has to do with breeding, has to do with what happens when you're in the repetition of gay culture. Okay, so this video right here definitively shows that the abundance of evidence supports my argument that there's a bunch of racist white Jews and LGBT people, right? Sir Francis Galton was well established with these people, right? He was an English Freemason, okay, a well-renowned scientist, and so on and so forth, and an overall horrible human being, okay, who tried to impart the philosophy on his community, his family, what have you, his nation. And we had sterilizations here in America up until the 80s, right? The last documented forced sterilization was in the 80s, and there was all kinds of funny stuff going on after that, where there was coerced salpingectomies, right, forcing females to get their tubes tied in prison while they're getting raped by guards, and they're, what is prison, right? The Department of Corrections, right? Reform school, right? Boot camp, right? Kind of military ideology, military industrial complex, kind of right-left paradigm. Okay.